people, and they receive electricity only 14 hours a day. So at midnight, villages are pitch black, silent. There's no whirring fans, even though it's hot, there's no humming fridges. The district hospital is also dark. It doesn't have backup power. For a woman in labour arriving at that hospital at midnight, she's greeted with flashlights, people holding mobile phones to give the doctors light to assist. Childbirth in these conditions is high risk, and the World Bank shows the maternal mortality rate of Timor-Leste is the second highest in Asia. Worldwide, around 700 million people still lack access to electricity, but I hypothesise an even broader problem. Even people with access don't always experience its benefits. Take Timor-Leste. The World Bank reports electricity access at 100%, and yet situations like those I described exist. Electricity access does not mean 24-hour supply. It does not mean a family can run a fridge. My research explores this problem, asking what barriers prevent the use of electricity to advance development. I've published a systematic literature review analysing the link between electricity access and human development. From 92 papers, I collated 1,138 pieces of evidence reporting on electricity's impact to aspects of development, like economics, education and health. Now, surprisingly, 36% of this evidence showed a neutral effect or even a negative outcome following electricity access. Things like inequalities arising between those who can and cannot afford to use the service. I've looked at where non-positive outcomes occur by graphically analysing 3 decades of data, electricity access rates and the Human Development Index. I've identified countries like Timor-Leste where increasing access has not translated to improvements in development. So why does this happen? To answer that, I'll travel to Timor-Leste and spend time in community collecting qualitative data on how people use electricity. I'll be looking at how we can address the barriers to prevent greater use for better outcomes. Electricity access does not always lead to improvements in human development. My research explores why this occurs, looking for the barriers so that we can inform governments of ways to support people to overcome them. This research forms an essential piece to ensure that no one is left to live life in the dark.
Great supporters. Tell me, what was it about this topic that motivated you to look into it in depth and research it?
I have travelled to Timor-Leste twice, and I heard this story about the hospital, and I was just a little bit blown away, particularly in terms of the differences between what's reported out there in literature and with global data collection versus the reality that people experience. And I am just really concerned that there's a whole group of people in the world that are missing out, and I don't want them to.
And when you